Dragon Ball. Sign into the immortal body at the beginning. Chapter 21. Sinusitis. Nosebleed. Tongtian. Nose, HMPH. Dog nose, pig nose, Vientian. Nose, snot. Nose, Baba. Seeing this, Li Shu felt so tired, and his rhinology skills were simply outrageous. 80% of rhinology is particularly unreliable when you look at the name. Huh. How did I forget this? Li Shu's heart suddenly moved, and in his backhand, a bottle of golden potion appeared in his hand. Super blessing potion, within 1 minute, your luck will be greatly improved. Li Shu didn't say a word, and dried it in one bite. The taste was not bad, a bit of iced tea, but other than that, he didn't feel any other changes. It's over. Li Shu suddenly thought of one thing: the last time he awakened the pupil technique, he was in a coma for a month. Thinking of this, Li Shu hurriedly took a fairy bean in his mouth, and when he was a little surprised, he swallowed it immediately. All the rhintals have been browsed, and the lottery begins. Ding! Congratulations, you have obtained the nose of battle. It's a thrilling lottery. Li Shu let out a long breath, and his hanging heart finally let go. Well, soon he reacted, the nose of the fight. The eye of war. Could it be that a set of skills is not successful? Without giving Li Shu too much time to think, a sharp pain came from his nose, but fortunately, he was prepared and immediately swallowed the fairy bean. I have to admire the magic of fairy beans, the feeling of severe pain is gone in an instant. Huh, Li Shu was completely relieved, he kept shaking the tip of his nose, wanting to try what was so special about this nose of fighting. Like Eye of Battle, Nose of Battle does not have any descriptive information, and it is all up to you to figure it out. However, the tip of Li Shu's nose was sour, and he didn't feel anything special, and even his basic sense of smell didn't improve. Isn't it? It's even worse than Eye of Battle. Such a result made Li Shu speechless. At the very least, the Eye of Fighting can still see the combat effectiveness, and this Nose of Fighting is really useless. It's not as good as rhinitis, Li Shu thought. At this moment, Kling won the game and returned to the waiting area in high spirits. Congratulations to Klin, you've made it to the final four. Wukong jumped up and hugged Klin, and Klin smiled. It's thanks to brother Li Shu, otherwise I wouldn't be able to beat that barbarian. By the way, brother Li Shu, that old man Cheng Long seems to be quite powerful, but I seem to have discovered his weakness. Kling whispered. Li Shu pretended to be surprised and looked at Klin, but did not tell Cheng Long that he was a turtle immortal. Kling secretly glanced around, took out a pair of women's underwear out of nowhere, quickly handed it to Li Shu, and said with a smile, you can use this to lure him then. Li Shu was taken aback, hurriedly took the briefs, looked around from time to time, and hurriedly put them away. After a while, the referee's voice sounded. Please Cheng Long and Li Shu come to the stage. Come on, big brother. Goku and Kling shouted at the same time. Li Shu nodded noncommittally, and then stepped into the ring, looking at his opponent, the Turtle Immortal. The referee and host quickly completed the introduction of the two and announced the start of the game. However, at the sound of an order, neither Li Shu nor the Turtle Immortal moved, they all stood on the stage casually, staring at each other. This strange behavior made the audience talk a lot. What are they doing here? Why don't you fight? Wukong said puzzled. Kling also said he couldn't understand and shook his head. This stumped the host who was about to comment, so he had to make up nonsense. What? Cheng Long and Li Shu chose the same tactics. If the enemy doesn't move, I won't move. It seems that they are all waiting for the opponent to strike first, so as to find the opponent's flaws. It's a master duel, just standing still, it's so exciting, it's really exciting. Looking at the motionless Turtle Immortal, Li Shu's expression was extremely serious, and he did not act rashly, but silently improved his combat effectiveness. Do you spend 4 achievements to upgrade Endless Dinosaur Legs LV2 to Endless Dinosaur Legs LV3? 95% success rate. Yes. Ascending. Congratulations, the promotion failed. The corners of Li Shu's mouth twitched, and he said in his heart, continue to improve. On the side of the Turtle Immortal, he frowned, and found that this kid was not fooled, so he had to take the lead in attacking. The host hurriedly yelled, it's gone. Cheng Long actually disappeared. What a speed. And Li Shu is still standing in place, without any reaction at all. Is this game about to end? Quote. Found it. Cheng Long actually jumped into the sky, and Li Shu still didn't have any reaction at the moment. As far as I know, Li Shu showed amazing speed in the preliminaries, and he is extremely good at braking with static and taking the lead in the rear. Can he dodge Cheng Long's move? Li Shu sighed. The turtle immortal had only confronted him for a few seconds, which was only enough for him to improve twice. What saddened him was that with a 95% success rate, he actually failed in a row. The 8 achievement points are gone. What an abomination. Li Shu hurriedly gathered his mind and concentrated on the duel. The moment the turtle immortal appeared above him, the tip of his nose subconsciously moved. The amplitude was very small. If he didn't stare carefully, it would be difficult for anyone to find out. Huh. Li Shu noticed a hint of something unusual. He actually smelled a dangerous smell coming from above. You can even judge the distance of this dangerous aura. Is this the nose of fighting? Nose. I misunderstood you. Li Shu was overjoyed at once. He could sense the dangerous aura in advance, and even judge the time when the danger was coming by judging the distance of the dangerous aura. This is simply a divine skill. With this magic skill, as long as he is not distracted, the gap between the combat power of the two sides is not too big, and the body can respond at the moment of danger, then he can be invincible. And there is also the killer feature of underwear. Isn't the old pervert of the turtle fairy at my disposal? At this moment, Li Shu was full of confidence, and while rushing forward to dodge the attack, he distanced himself from the turtle immortal, silently calculating the timing of the killer in his heart. Young man, you can't just hide. After the turtle immortal finished speaking, he saw that his body shook, leaving an afterimage in place, and his true body had already rushed in front of Li Shu and punched him. Afterimage punch. Li Shu recognized it at a glance, and he would do the same with this trick. When he was in Baozi Mountain, Sun Wuhan taught him. The key to this move is to influence the opponent's judgment through the afterimage. As long as the opponent's reaction is a few tenths of a second slower, it will reveal a huge flaw and give the attacker an advantage. However, this trick was useless to Li Shu, and he also left an afterimage in place, once again distancing himself from the turtle immortal. The turtle immortal punched the air, and the action did not stop because of this. He seemed to have expected it a long time ago, and his body left an afterimage in a flash, and his real body went straight to Li Shu, and he didn't intend to give Li Shu any respite. Although Li Shu's speed is very fast, compared to him, it is still 3 points behind. In an instant, the turtle immortal rushed in front of Li Shu, and the whole person was immediately divided into 5, and launched an attack from 5 directions, either punching, palming, kicking, or kicking. The tip of Li Shu's nose moved slightly, and he instantly realized that the 5 attacks in front of him were just afterimages, and the real offensive came from above. Immediately, the left foot stepped suddenly, and the right foot borrowed the force to directly kick a 90-degree ultra-difficult action on the spot. What? The turtle immortal who kicked in the air was suddenly taken aback. Even if Li Shu also mastered the afterimage fist, he could instantly recognize his afterimage, but it was impossible to find his specific location in an instant. And he responded so decisively. The action was exaggerated, the amplitude was so large, and the attack was so swift, as if it was determined that he would appear in this position, leaving no room for himself to be buffered, as if he had eyes on the top of his head. What a terrible fighting instinct. Bang! There was a muffled sound. The two kicked each other with their feet, and the turtle immortal's eyes widened suddenly, wondering if he had seen it wrong. Just at that moment, he seemed to see Li Shu's right leg turned into a dinosaur leg. And a roasted dinosaur leg. At the same time, a majestic force swept up from the soles of his feet, instantly spreading all over his body, and a touch of pain appeared on the face of the turtle immortal, and the whole person rose into the sky like a cannonball under the huge impact. When the host saw such a wonderful scene, he immediately shouted. What? Cheng Long is from top to bottom, Li Shu is from bottom to top. It seems that Cheng Long has the advantage, but the result is that Cheng Long is top down, and he was kicked away by Li Shu from the bottom up. What a great matchup. With such a high altitude, can Cheng Long land smoothly? Let's wait and see. The host took the microphone and spat and looked at the sky with an exaggerated expression. The audience was also deeply attracted by this wonderful duel and looked up at the sky. I want to know how this Cheng Long player should deal with this crisis. Look, everyone. The host seemed to have discovered something terrible, and shouted excitedly, The angle at which Cheng Long fell seems to be facing the outside of the field. Even if it lands successfully, it will be judged to lose because it goes out of bounds. Is this the end of this wonderful showdown? Let's cheer for Cheng Long. It's really noisy. Li Shu looked at the host very unpleasantly, and then squinted at the turtle immortal who was in free fall in the sky, and suddenly had a plan. He never believed that the turtle immortal would be defeated by his own kick. He must be pretending again. He knew too well the urine nature of the turtle immortal. This is a great opportunity. Li Shu didn't have full confidence to defeat the turtle immortal head-on. After all, the difference in combat strength between the two was more than 20 points, and the turtle immortal's combat experience was more than 100 years richer than his own, and he was also known as the great martial arts master of the god of martial arts. If he really gets serious, not to mention winning or losing, it will definitely be a vicious battle, and he will inevitably be beaten in many places. He is really scared, and there is a high probability that he will lose in the end. The current situation is very good. The turtle immortal was negligent and was kicked by himself, which allowed him to take the lead. It was a rare opportunity, and he had to seize it. Take advantage of the victory to chase and take down the turtle immortal in one fell swoop, and don't let him show his full strength. Li Shu's brain was spinning, and he instantly thought of a plan and buttoned his strawberry panties in the palm of his hand. The turtle immortal doesn't know how to dance the sky yet, and if he wants not to fall off the field, he has only one choice. Seeing that the turtle immortal was about to fall off the field, although some people thought that he was going to lose, the turtle immortal put his hands against each other in the shape of a calyx, and then pulled it to his waist, and a blue light converged into a ball of light in the palms of both hands. Turtle. Pai. Qi. Gong. The turtle immortal let out a low shout, wanting to use the impetus of the turtle sect Qigong to change the position where he landed. Now is the time. Li Shu saw the opportunity and threw out the strawberry panties that were buttoned in the palm of his hand. O Omega O. Nani. The momentum of the turtle immortal suddenly leaked by more than half, and his eyes couldn't help but look over. At the same time, Li Shu grinned. His hands were also pressed against each other in the shape of calyxes, and then pulled to his waist, and a stream of blue energy quickly converged in the palms of his hands. Turtle. Pi. Quote! Exclamation mark. Gas. Gong. As the accumulation was completed, Li Shu aimed at the turtle immortal and pushed forward with both hands. Pillars of blue energy surge out. What? The turtle immortal looked at it suddenly, and suddenly his color changed in shock. His face was full of disbelief. He couldn't understand how Li Shu could use his own trick. He had never shown it in front of Li Shu. In fact, Li Shu had already forgotten about this turtle school Qigong, and just now remembered that he would also use this trick. At the moment when he was hit by the turtle sect Qigong, the turtle immortal's heart was full of chagrin and remorse, and he sat under the ring with a confused face. His original intention was to use the pseudonym Cheng Long to add a little difficulty to the Wukong and the three of them to prevent them from winning the championship, not wanting them to be too proud, but he didn't expect the boat to capsize in the gutter. Congratulations, you have achieved the achievement, Turtle Immortal Overturned Scene. Reward, Charged Buff, Achievement Value +3. Quote. Charge Buff, increases charge speed by 10%. Huh. Li Shu was a little surprised. He didn't expect that there would be an achievement reward in this way, so he hurriedly recorded this. The sound of the system does not stop because of this. Congratulations, you have obtained the achievement, 9 consecutive victories in the 21st Martial Arts Conference, rewarded with 2 bottles of Blessing Potion, and achievement points +5. Congratulations, you have obtained the achievement, Top 4 Players of the 21st Martial Arts Conference, and you will be rewarded with a bottle of Super Blessing Potion, and an achievement value of +5. 3 consecutive achievement rewards have brought Li Shu's achievement value to a new height of 28 points. Meanwhile, the presenter umpire referee declared Li Shu the winner. With the cheers of Goku and Klin, Li Shu returned to the lounge. Big brother, what kind of trick is your blue light wave? It looks amazing, can you teach me after the game? Sun Wukong asked hopefully. Of course it's no problem, Li Shu didn't refuse. This was originally a skill that Wukong wanted to master, and whoever taught it was the same. 10 minutes later, the third matchup Lan Feng vs Nanwu officially began. Li Shu looked at Nanwu thoughtfully. This man who looked like Ah San, he had a little impression, as if his hometown was short of water, and he wanted to win a prize to improve the water situation in his hometown. Maybe this can be an achievement. After this game, Li Shu decided to give it a try. At this moment, the turtle immortal with the pseudonym Cheng Long found him with a serious face. Looking at Cheng Long with a serious face, without waiting for the other party to speak, Li Shu smiled and said, "Teacher Wushan, I'm embarrassed just now. I won't win if you don't win, you won't win if you don't win." The turtle immortal was speechless for a moment, and said, "So you have already seen it." Wukong and Klin, who were next to them, were watching the game with relish, and when they heard this, they turned their heads in surprise and looked at Cheng Long incredulously. At this moment, there was no need for the turtle immortal to hide it, so he took off his disguise. "Wukong, Klin, you guys concentrate on watching the game, I'll talk to Li Shu alone." The turtle immortal took Li Shu to a place where there was no one on the side, and said the purpose of his disguise. To sum it up in one sentence, to prevent Goku from winning the championship, you can't be too proud at a young age, and it takes a certain amount of setbacks. Li Shu, you are much older than Wukong and Klin, you should understand this truth. Since I have failed, I hope to entrust this important task to you. Li Shu was overjoyed in his heart. Isn't this an achievement sent to the door? There is no reason to refuse. Regardless of whether you can beat Wukong or not, let's talk about the task first. There must be a road before the car reaches the mountain. Don't worry, Teacher Wushan, leave this to me. Li Shu agreed. The system's prompt sound is coming. Trigger the achievement quest. Don't be arrogant or discouraged. At the 21st Martial Arts Conference, defeat Sun Wukong head-on. Reward. Heart of Battle. Quote. The heart of the fight. Li Shu was taken aback. Following Eye of Fighting and Nose of Fighting, there is another fighting skill. It seems that this is really a set of skills. If you collect all the fighting skills, I wonder if there will be any set effect. Or is it an achievement? According to the laws of the system, there should be a great possibility. It seems that this number 1 must be fought for. Li Shu's heart was a little heavy. Defeating Sun Wukong head-on, he doesn't have much confidence, and he is only 30% sure at most. Don't look at the fact that he just won the Turtle Immortal, who is stronger than Goku, but if it is a head-to-head battle, he will most likely lose. Unless you use the sky dancing technique and are invincible, you will have a chance to defeat the Turtle Immortal head-on. But at this stage, when everyone can't fly, his use of the sky dancing technique is too lippy, and Li Shu doesn't know if this is a head-on defeat. After all, it is also a victory. Now the achievement value is as high as 28 points. For the sake of insurance, Li Shu plans to consult, and he can still afford to spend 1 achievement point. If he can use the sky dancing technique, then his certainty of defeating Goku can soar to 80. The system quickly replied, "No. That's it. Achievement points -2. Current achievement value, 26. With just 2 words of answer, Li Shu was deducted 2 points of achievement, and the consulting fee was quietly doubled, which made Li Shu very angry and helpless. If you can't use the sky dance, the task is a bit difficult. Li Shu glanced at the battle table. If nothing else, his next opponent is Klin, and then he meets Goku in the final to compete for the championship and runner-up. He still has time to improve his combat power, at least to the same level as Wukong. Fortunately, it is not much different. As long as he successfully improves the dinosaur legs twice, it will be almost the same. By the way, where did you learn your turtle school Qigong? The turtle immortal suddenly asked. Li Shu's face was not red and his heart was not beating, and he lied. Huh. Well, I learned from you. Me. The turtle immortal said a little confused. I don't seem to have taught you this trick. Li Shu said shamelessly. I saw that you performed it once, so I tried to imitate your movements, and I learned it. It doesn't look very difficult. The turtle immortal opened his mouth, but finally chose to remain silent. In addition, the turtle immortal really couldn't think of any other suitable reason, and he had to admit that the kid in front of him was indeed a genius. Just by looking at it, he learned the trick he had painstakingly studied for 50 years. Congratulations, you have earned the achievement, Genius. Get the reward, Cheeky, achievement value +1. Cheeky, comparable to the thickness of the face of the city wall, it can reduce your shame. Li Shu. This is the first time in Li Shu's history that he has achieved an achievement, but he is not happy. I don't mean anything else, I'm just curious. Seeing that Li Shu's expression was a little wrong, the turtle immortal hurriedly explained, I originally planned to teach you after the martial arts meeting ended. Quote. Big brother. Teacher Wu Tian. It's time for Goku to play. But Goku is gone. At this moment, Klin's panicked voice came from a distance, and the exchange between Li Shu and the turtle immortal ended, and he hurriedly walked to Klin to understand the situation. After learning about the situation, Li Shu was shocked, Wukong was gone. Is there this plot in the original book? He couldn't remember it at all, so he had to gather more people to help find Goku around. He was worried that his appearance had caused the storyline to change. If Wukong is eliminated like this, his achievement task will be in vain. A few minutes later, Li Shu found Wukong. Looking at Wukong who was sleeping with his back against the wall, Li Shu was a little speechless, but fortunately it was just a false alarm. Wake up, Goku, it's time for you to play. Li Shu hurriedly carried Wukong and ran towards the ring. Wukong also woke up at this time, and smiled embarrassedly, the sun is too comfortable, and I accidentally fell asleep. Hearing Wukong's explanation, everyone instantly fainted and fell to the ground. After a small episode, the Monkey King's showdown officially began. His opponent, Karan, is a monster with wings, and Li Shu quickly remembers this episode. The next development is almost the same as the plot in his memory. The monster Karan tried his best to take Goku and finally chose to surrender after he was helpless. During this period, Li Shu used a bottle of Super Blessing Potion and 4 achievement points to successfully raise the dinosaur leg to LV3. Endless Dinosaur Legs LV3, a renewable edible weapon, can be attached to the legs. Increases combat effectiveness by 4% after equipping. With the increase in equipment, Li Shu's combat power has also reached 78 points, which is almost the same as Wukong's 80 combat power. Li Shu didn't continue to improve the dinosaur legs, he estimated that from LV3 to LV4, it was estimated that the cost of one promotion would cost 8 achievements, and he was a little reluctant. If you're unlucky, the remaining 23 points of achievement will just be wasted. 23 points has achieved a lot, and he decided to try to improve the Saiyan bloodline. Raise the Saiyan bloodline. Li Shu gave the order, silently expecting in his heart, don't fail. Don't fail. Don't fail. Do you spend 20 achievements to upgrade Saiyan bloodline to Saiyan bloodline LV1? Yes. Li Shu was overjoyed, and without the slightest hesitation, he chose yes. He didn't know how many times he tried, and the achievement was finally enough. Ascending. Ascending successfully. Congratulations, you have obtained Saiyan Bloodline LV1. Quote. Like the fighting series skills, there is no information description of the Saiyan bloodline. Li Shu did not feel a significant change, and the combat power is still 78. It should be the same as the fighting series skills, and the subtle changes brought about by the improvement can only be reflected in the battle. Based on Li Shu's understanding of the Saiyan bloodline after the change of his bloodline, it should be due to the improvement of combat effectiveness after recovering from serious injuries. Maybe the development of Super Saiyan will also be improved, such as being easier to transform, or the combat power increases greater after transformation. These are Li Shu's guesses, but it won't be long before these guesses can be verified one by one. In the fight with Wukong, serious injuries are inevitable. And Goku's Saiyan bloodline, like the Saiyan bloodline before his upgrade, belongs to the most ordinary. Comparing the two, you can know the difference between Saiyan bloodline and Saiyan bloodline LV1. 10 minutes later, the semi-finals will be ushered in. Let's take a break and let's interview these top 4 players. The host and referee, holding the microphone with passion, shouted, let's have the 2 youngest players in history, Sun Wukong. Graham Lin. In the cheers of the audience, Sun Wukong walked into the ring with a big grin, and Kling followed a little shyly. Under the host's inquiry, everyone exclaimed when they learned that Sun Wukong was only 12 years old. Excuse me, is your tale real? The host asked curiously. Yes. Sun Wukong hurriedly took off his pants, didn't care about Shao Kunken's feelings at all, and showed his tail to everyone. Li Shu watched this scene with a smile. It was really interesting. I didn't expect that 5 years have passed. Wukong's little bell is still so small. Ha ha ha, I really want to take a photo as a souvenir. It's a pity that he didn't prepare the camera in advance and missed such a precious picture. In the future, you must carry a camera with you, and it's time to upgrade the dimensional storage space, and the things inside are about to run out. Seeing that there were only 3 achievement points left, Li Shu did not hesitate, and used all of them to improve the dimensional storage space, expanding by 3 cubic meters, reaching 4 cubic meters, which looked a lot more spacious. At this point, Li Shu's achievement points have been completely exhausted. It didn't take long for Li Shu to walk into the ring amid the host's shouts. Are the 3 of you coming together? They are all wearing the same practice clothes. The host asked. Li Shu nodded and said, yes. Quote. Does the word, turtle, mean anything? The moderator asked again. Li Shu explained, we are all under the sect of the Turtle Immortals. Quote. Turtle Immortals. The host pondered for a moment, and suddenly exclaimed, is it the legendary martial arts god's martial arts teacher? As soon as these words came out, the audience was shocked, and the name of Teacher Wushan was known to everyone in the martial arts world. It turned out to be Teacher Wu Tian's disciple. No wonder all of them are so strong. And among our top 4 players, he has won 3 places, and he is worthy of being the Wushan teacher who enjoys the title of the god of martial arts. Quote. The disciples cultivated are also so good. From this point of view, the next semi-finals, or even the finals, will be an infighting between Master Wushan's disciples. It's really exciting. I wonder what kind of exciting showdown it will bring us. Let's wait and see. Under the host's passionate explanation, the audience was also full of interest, looking forward to the duel between the disciples of the god of martial arts. Next, under the auspices of the host, the top 4 players all played some small games, showed their other talents, and pulled the atmosphere of the scene. Li Shu was the last to appear, and under the warm invitation of the host, he had to put on a talent. Hello everyone, in addition to the identity of a martial artist, I have another identity. Li Shu smiled confidently. I used to be a musician who practiced for 2.5 years, and I was good at singing, dancing, and rap. A song, Chicken, You Are Too Beautiful, for everyone. Under the watchful eye, Li Shu spoke, Saku Luo Si. Dorado Balado. Sagato. The title of the Dragon Ball theme song, Li Shu never knew what it was called, so he made up a name. But he grew up hearing about it, and when he was a child, he would stay in front of the TV every day, waiting for other children to order an episode of Dragon Ball, and he prostituted it for nothing. After a long time, he will be able to sing it too. At the end of the song, Li Shu's singing ushered in the applause of the audience. Especially Boomer in the audience, his eyes flashed with little stars, and he looked at Li Shu on the stage intoxicated. Li Shu looks ordinary, and he is just a little handsome, but he does look so charming at the moment. Not only Boomer, but countless other women also looked at Li Shu obsessively. The audience even sounded the sound of, one more song, one after another. Congratulations, you have obtained the achievement, Little Black, and you will receive a reward Kun Fist, and your achievement value will be +2. Kunquan, the amazing boxing method famous for Tishan contains a fist intent called embarrassment, which is infinitely powerful. Congratulations, you have obtained the achievement, Musician of the Martial Arts Conference, and you will be rewarded with Lion's Roar, and the achievement value will be +2. Lion's Roar, the Charter Mother's famous stunt. See the movie Kung Fu for details, and I won't describe it too much. 2 achievement rewards in a row made Li Shu a little stunned. He was really unintentional, and had no other meanings and ideas. But I have to say, these 2 rewards are really good. At this moment, the cheers of the audience, one more song, are getting stronger and stronger, and seeing that the martial arts meeting is about to become a concert, the host hurriedly began to control the situation, and his forehead was full of fine sweat. Audience. I can understand your feelings. I didn't expect that Li Shu would be a musician who has been practicing for 2.5 years, but please rest assured, how about we let him sing another song after the competition? Under the host's painstaking persuasion, the audience's enthusiasm finally subsided a little and focused on the semifinals. The first game of the semifinals, Li Shu vs Klin. Please come on stage and get ready. The other players get off the stage and take a break. Soon only Li Shu and Kling were left on the stage, and Li Shu was still standing there casually. Kling was nervous, put on a posture, and stared at Li Shu extremely seriously. Game. Begin. The host and referee gave an order, and Kling chose to strike first and took the lead in attacking. After seeing Li Shu's strength, Kling didn't dare to be careless at all. Combat Strength. 35. Looking at Kling, who was in a hurry, Li Shu decided to try the so-called infinite power of Kunquan, how infinite it is. I saw Li Shu turn sideways slightly, a confident smile appeared at the corner of his mouth, hooked his hand at the attacking Kling, and then immediately began to do the difficult action of dribbling under his crotch. Colin. Goku. Turtle Immortals. Spectator. The host was even more dumbfounded. This. What kind of move is this? Oh my god. Li Shu actually played basketball. Is this a whole new genre that we've never seen before? Is it called basketball boxing? Everyone was stunned, and Kling was a little at a loss. He didn't understand what Li Shu's trick was, it looked like it was all flawed. Haven't seen him use it before. But he had already made a move, opened his bow without looking back, and attacked hard. Li Shu was also a little speechless at the moment, he never expected that the starting style of Kun Fist would be so explosive, he had known that this was the case, and he would never have used this move under the attention of everyone. At the same time, a fist intent called embarrassment, centered on Li Shu, quietly spread around. Even Li Shu, who used his fist, was not spared, and an extremely embarrassing emotion inexplicably rose in his heart. Kling bore the brunt of the attack, he suddenly felt that his movements at the moment were very embarrassing, and his 10 toes couldn't help arching, and goosebumps suddenly rose all over his body. This sudden change made his offensive deformed, revealing a great flaw. It's over. Kling was shocked, completely oblivious to what was happening. However, Li Shu did not take this opportunity to defeat Kling in one fell swoop, because once the Kun Fist was cast, it could not be stopped halfway, and the whole set had to be finished. Such important information, why didn't you tell me in advance? Li Shu was a little angry, his body swayed uncontrollably, only to see him suddenly turn around, one shoulder high and the other shoulder low, and kept arching the kicking of Klinfei with his low shoulder. This move is the famous Iron Mountain. Every time Li Shu arched, the embarrassing fist intent would increase by 1 point. After only a few pops, Kling's toe ripped through his shoes, leaving them exposed, and he fell to the ground under the attack of Iron Mountain. I saw Kling's expression of pain, writhing on the ground, as if he was going through an indescribable torment in his heart, and every hair on his body stood high. However, Li Shu's offensive was not over yet. The host endured the embarrassment in his heart and explained, "What's the situation? What's going on? Is Li Shu's basketball boxing so strong?" With just one blow, Kling was beaten to death. Quote. This is a great opportunity. Will Li Shu players care about the friendship of their classmates? Or will it take advantage of the victory and chase after it? Quote. What? Li Shu didn't choose either, but danced on the spot. Is this contempt for the opponent? Oh my god. Li Shu was roaring madly in his heart at the moment, stop me. Dog system, I'll let you stop me. However, his body was still dancing uncontrollably, covering his crotch with one hand, shaking the other hand to 3, slightly sideways with one foot as the center, looking behind him and retreating. Stop. Can't be returned. It's going to fall off the field. Li Shu was completely panicked, he didn't expect that Kunquan would be so terrifying. Fortunately, he has the skill of Cheeky, otherwise he would have found a crack in the ground by now. With the end of the last two-handed index finger flowering action, Li Shu's Kun Fist was finally finished. And Kling was lying on the ground at the moment, foaming at the mouth and convulsing constantly. He was really embarrassed, and he had completely lost his ability to fight. After the host counted down 10 seconds, the results of the first semifinal were announced, and Li Shu won. What Li Shu didn't expect was that with the end of his set of Kun boxing, the female audience in the audience was completely boiling, shouting his name. Especially after the host announced Li Shu's victory, the female audience in the audience exploded the audience, and the shouts became even crazier. Li Shujun. Can we have a meal together in the evening? Quote. Li Shujun. Do you have a girlfriend? Can I date you? Li Shu looked at the audience in shock, he never expected that he would be embarrassed on stage, and the female audience in the audience would be so excited. Is this the power of Kun? At the same time, the rewards of the system are coming again. Congratulations, you have obtained the achievement, Heartthrob, and you will be rewarded with a bottle of forgetful water, and your achievement value will be +5. Forgetful water, after using it, you can forget a skill. Forget the water. Good thing. Li Shu waved to the audience, returned to the back of the stage, and handed over the mess to the host. Fortunately, the host of this part-time referee was professional enough, and it only took a few minutes to appease the crazy female fans in the audience. Semi-finals Game 2. Monkey King vs Nan Wu. With the host's order, the showdown between Sun Wukong and Nan Wu is about to start. In the rest area, it was difficult for Li Shu to calm down and watch Wukong's game, and the power of Kun Fist just now made him feel palpitations now. Do you want to use forgetful water to forget this skill? Li Shu was a little tangled. Forget it, you don't have a lot of skills, you will always be useful, and you don't usually need it. Li Shu quickly made a decision. He suddenly remembered that Clin was carried away by the medical staff, and hurriedly ran over and gave Clin a fairy bean. Clin woke up slowly, and he had just fainted directly from Li Shu's fist intent. The moment he saw Li Shu, Clin was still a little afraid, and his body couldn't help but tremble. Then he smiled bitterly. What kind of trick are you? I had no room for resistance. If you want to learn, I can teach you. Li Shu said with a smile. Clin hurriedly shook his head and said, forget it, I can't learn it, I really can't do those few actions. Li Shu smiled awkwardly. To be honest, if it weren't for the skill of cheekiness, he would probably be so ashamed that he would commit suicide by seppuku now. At this moment, the turtle immortal ran over with an excited face. He held Li Shu's hand, and said urgently, Li Shu, please teach me this set of boxing techniques. Li Shu looked at the turtle immortal with a fanatical face, and his heart suddenly understood, so he nodded and said, no problem, teacher Wushan. The turtle immortal suddenly smiled, already fantasizing about the wonderful picture of thousands of girls after learning Kunquan. Li Shu did frown. Why is the system's voice still not loud? It doesn't make sense. Doesn't this trigger the achievement task? It turns out that not all of them will trigger achievement tasks, and Li Shu, who thought he had figured out the habits of the system, was a little regretful. Feeling the 9 points of achievement he had just obtained, Li Shu thought for a moment and decided to use it to improve the dinosaur's legs. It's a pity that the super blessing potion has run out. Let's try the effect of the blessing potion. Blessing potion, within 1 minute, your luck will be slightly increased. I don't know if the effect can be stacked. Li Shu looked at the 9 bottles of blessing potions in the dimensional storage space, and a bold idea popped up in his heart. Regardless, he decided to give it a try, and his current achievement points were only enough to increase once. Li Shulei acted resolutely, immediately took action, and drank 3 bottles of blessing potion in one go. Boost Endless Dinosaur Legs LV3. Improving. As Li Shu guessed, this time the promotion requires 8 achievement points, and so on. The next promotion is probably 16 points. Successful promotion. Congratulations on obtaining Endless Dinosaur Legs LV4. Endless Dinosaur Legs LV4, a renewable edible weapon, can be attached to the legs. It brings out an enticing meaty aroma. Increases combat effectiveness by 5% after equipping. Quote. It worked. Li Shu jumped up happily. Although it is impossible to tell whether the effect of the blessing potion is superimposed or not, it can undoubtedly increase your belief in success, and it is still very worthwhile. As the saying goes, if you believe it, you will have it, and if you don't believe it, you will not, and when you get rich in the future, he plans to consult whether the system can be superimposed. Combat Strength. 78.75. Looking at the slight increase in combat effectiveness, Li Shu is still very satisfied, and it is already very good at this stage. In addition, after the dinosaur legs were upgraded to LV4, there was a new entry, to stimulate the tempting aroma of meat. This is undoubtedly an excellent equipment skill, especially when fighting a foodie like Wukong. Li Shu already has a picture in his mind, and he can't help but let out a hee. After some improvement, Li Shu has added a lot of confidence in the task of defeating Goku head-on. Li Shu returned to the player's rest area and continued to watch Goku's match. As soon as he came, he saw that Nanwu was fighting Wukong, and he was still using the palm technique that fell from the sky, Skycross Slash. Goku. Well. Combat Strength. 83. No, right. Li Shu was stunned. Wukong's combat power actually increased in the battle. This undoubtedly increased the difficulty of the task for him. This result made Li Shu very angry, and he deeply understood what it means to be more popular than people. He worked hard to brush up on his achievements, and he was terrified to improve his probability, and almost got a heart attack, and as a result, he increased his combat power by 3.75. Wukong was good, but he was beaten up, and his combat power skyrocketed by 3 points. Sure enough, fear of pain is the biggest obstacle to the Saiyan bloodline. Although there is some injustice in his heart, Li Shu also expressed his understanding. In fact, as long as he is ruthless and beaten, he will not be much worse than Wukong. Looking at Wukong's painful appearance, Li Shu gasped, and his heart suddenly felt better, and it looked really painful. He was really scared, and as a last resort, Li Shu was absolutely unwilling to be beaten. Seeing this, Li Shu admired Wukong very much. Nanwu's combat power was only 45 points. Wukong could obviously directly give Nanwu seconds, but Wukong controlled his strength at the same level as Nanwu, so as to hone himself. Squeezed Nanwu's potential again and again, forcing Nanwu to use more powerful tricks. With this martial arts will, Li Shu thinks that he can't compare with it, and he can't do it. If it was him, he would have given Nanwu a second directly, and wanted to hit me. Dream on. With Nanwu running out of tricks, Goku couldn't feel the pressure and defeated his opponent in one fell swoop and successfully advanced to the finals. Looking at Nanwu's lonely expression, Li Shu knew that the opportunity had come, and stopped Nanwu who was about to go home after being present. Mr. Nanwu, I am willing to help your hometown and solve the problem of water sources. In Nan's undoubted gaze, Li Shu said bluntly. He knew that Nanwu came from a poor and backward tribe with a shortage of water, and people died of thirst every day, and life was very difficult. Nanwu's wishes to get the prize money from the Martial Arts Association to improve the water situation in his hometown. Nanwu, who was still a little lost, suddenly became excited. Really? But why would you do that? Is there anything I need to do for you? Quote. Everyone has compassion. Looking at the simple and excited Nanwu, Li Shu can't be indifferent. Even if he doesn't trigger the achievement task in the end and doesn't get the achievement reward, he is willing to help Nanwu. This is a great difficulty for Nanwu, and for Li Shu, it is just a gesture, so why not do it? The reward for the champion of the martial arts club is only 1 million, I will give you 10 million. Li Shu took out a space capsule and said, the money is all in it. You can use this money to buy some more space capsules, fill it with enough water for emergency first, and then use the rest of the money to solve the problem of water resources in your hometown. Nanwu took the capsule in shock and asked cautiously, can you tell me a place to buy water? Buying water. What water to buy? Li Shu said speechlessly, do you see the well next to you? Hit casually, don't want money. Quote. What? Nanwu, who heard the news, was directly shocked and dropped his jaw. Mr. Nanwu, our western capital is very rich in water resources, so the water is free, and you don't need to spend money to buy it. At this moment, the turtle immortal came over at some point, and also took out a space capsule and handed it to Nanwu. I have one too, bring some more water back. Looking at the two benefactors in front of him, Nanwu was grateful and grateful. Li Shu was not surprised by the appearance of the turtle immortals. In the original book, it was the turtle immortals who helped Nanwu. Need I do something for you? Nanwu felt that he had nothing to repay, so he had to help do something. Li Shu and the turtle immortal were helpless, and finally sent Nanwu away with great difficulty. Congratulations, you have obtained the achievement, Nanwu's wish, and you will be rewarded with a 500 milliliters bottle of Super Divine Water, and the achievement value is +2. Super Divine Water, with the power of poison, it stimulates people's potential, and is recommended for people with pure hearts. Carry the past to take off on the spot, and you can't carry the plastic monument on the spot. Quote. Super Divine Water. The moment he heard this reward, Li Shu was stunned. It was impossible for him to drink this thing even if he was killed. In the original book, Sun Wukong, a person as pure, was poisoned to death, and because of this, he fell into the bane of viral heart disease. What about yourself? The lingering 5000 T learning materials in my mind, living in the internet era in my previous life, under the baptism of big data, am I still pure? In his previous life, a pure person may have met the conditions for applying for National Endangered Species Protection, right? After dealing with Nan Wu's affairs, it didn't take long for the final of the 21st Martial Arts Conference to finally usher in the final of the 21st Martial Arts Conference under the announcement of the host. At the same time, Li Shu's long-lost voice sounded in his mind. Congratulations, you have obtained the achievement, 10 consecutive victories in the 21st Martial Arts Conference, and you will be rewarded with a bottle of Super Blessing Potion, and your achievement value will be +8. Congratulations, you have obtained the achievement, 21st Martial Arts Conference finalist, rewarded with 2 bottles of Super Blessing Potion, and achievement value +10. The moment he heard the voice, Li Shu was shocked, because he had forgotten about it. At first he had a feeling that something was missing, but he couldn't remember what it was, but now he finally understood where that feeling came from. Dare to love is that the system forgot to send rewards. System. I'm sorry, I forgot to send a reward when I was fishing, and in order to appease your fragile heart, I decided to compensate you for a free inquiry. Quote. Congratulations, you have been rewarded with a free consultation once. Okay, that's how you work, right? I complain about you. Li Shu complained in his heart, but he didn't really complain, because there was no way to complain at all, and it was gratifying that this system was quite humane, and there was no reward for hacking himself. That's a huge sum of 18 points. And there are also 3 bottles of Super Blessing Potion. If this is hacked, he can't even remember it. It just so happened that Li Shu had a question to ask, so he immediately used the opportunity of this pre-consultation. What system prop effects can be stacked? Li Shu organized the next language and consulted. System. Theirs. It's too much, see for yourself. Quote. Congratulations, you have received a reward list of stackable items. In this kind of operation, Li Shu hurriedly opened the dimensional storage space to check the props in the list. There are countless names of props densely listed in the column, and Li Shu is dazzled, and from the beginning to the end, he has not found the name of the Blessing Potion. This discovery made Li Shu a little disappointed, and sure enough, it was just his own psychological effect, and the Blessing Potion could not be stacked. However, Li Shu made a new discovery, and he saw Invisibility Epiphany Potion, Super Saiyan Epiphany Potion, Super Transformation Epiphany Potion, and so on in the list. In short, the Epiphany effect of all Epiphany Potions can be stacked, and the more potions you take at the same time, the higher the chance of Epiphany. And he also found the names of such items. Invisibility 99% Epiphany Potion, Super Saiyan 99% Epiphany Potion, and other similar props. This unexpected discovery made Li Shu mentally balanced a lot, which meant that he could increase the success rate of these Epiphany Potions to 99% before using them. Combined with Blessing Potion and Super Blessing Potion, the success rate can theoretically reach 100%. To be honest, the experience of lifting dinosaur legs makes it hard for Li Shu to believe that this 99% success rate, only 100% is the safest. Li Shu's achievement value at the moment came to 19 o'clock, and after thinking for a while, he still decided to save it. At this stage, the improvement of dinosaur legs is no longer of great significance to Li Shu, it is enough. There are 8 achievements for 10 consecutive wins, and 10 achievements for the finalists, so if you win a championship, then the achievement points of the full victory and the achievement points of the champion cannot take off. Li Shu is looking forward to the final reward and is ready to be beaten by Wukong. He has an immortal body, as long as his physical strength can keep up, he has strong willpower, he is not afraid of fighting, he is not afraid of pain, and he will not fall off the field, and he can be invincible in theory. The finals of the world's #1 martial arts tournament are about to begin. Let's invite Li Shu and Sun Wukong to the ring. As the host's voice fell, the female compatriots in the audience suddenly let out a deafening cheer. Li Shu! Li Shu! Li Shu! Among them, Boomer was the loudest. Regardless of the outcome, Li Shu has become the most popular contestant in this martial arts tournament. Such a scene, even Li Shu himself was unexpected, and he once again felt Kun's charm. It seems that I have to improve the skill of Cheeky, and I can't bear the strength of my current skill. Li Shu silently gave the order. Improving. Congratulations, you have successfully improved and obtained the skill Cheeky LV1. Cheeky skin LV1, the thickness of the skin comparable to the Great Wall can greatly reduce your shame. This promotion cost 5 points of achievement, and Li Shu felt that it was worth the money. The whole person feels different in an instant, and can calmly deal with the fanatical female fans. Li Shu had to give the system a thumbs up. If you want to talk about practicality, it has to be the skill of Cheeky. After a few brief opening remarks, the host announced the start of the game. Wukong looked at his eldest brother seriously. Li Shu's casual standing posture looked full of flaws, but he didn't dare to be careless. In Baozi Mountain, he and his eldest brother fought more than 100 times, although most of them won by himself, but he knew that it was because the eldest brother did not do his best at all. Every time he was injured a little, he screamed and admitted defeat, which made Wukong very unhappy and complained about his eldest brother. The eldest brother never took winning or losing seriously, and every time he used food that he couldn't refuse, he eliminated his complaints. When I was practicing with the Turtle Immortals, I was often lazy, and I didn't listen to what I said, and every time I said that I could protect my eldest brother, why did my eldest brother work so hard? At this point, Wukong also understood that the eldest brother did not have the heart to become a strong man at all, and then he was relieved. However, the belligerent Goku really wants to fight with his eldest brother with all his might, which has been his wish for many years. On such an occasion, the eldest brother should be doing his best this time, right? Goku is scrappy and full of anticipation. He didn't attack rashly. Judging from his years of experience with his eldest brother, this seems to be a flaw all over his body, but in fact, it is all a trap to lure the enemy in. Wukong once asked curiously, and the eldest brother replied to him like this: the world's martial arts are invincible, only fast and unbreakable. We must learn to wait for work with ease, break with static, and strike at the rear. Quote. This is the martial arts concept of the eldest brother. Wukong doesn't understand what it means, he just thinks the eldest brother is too lazy. Wukong, let the horse come over, let you see the true strength of the eldest brother today. Li Shu hooked Wukong's hand. He doesn't like to move first, he is good at making a late strike. It's like playing rock paper scissors, and it's tried and tested time and again. Wukong shouted. Big brother, I won't be fooled, you have said this 800 times. Quote. Huh. Li Shu felt troubled, so he continued to shout. Wukong, how can I, as a big brother, be embarrassed to strike first? You attack first. Goku shouted. I don't. Big brother, you attack first. Li Shu was a little puzzled. Why didn't Wukong play his cards according to the routine today? As soon as he said this in the past, he immediately attacked it. The host looked left and right, and with his professionalism, he didn't know how to explain it for a while. Okay then it's up to whom. Li Shu looked indifferent, and suddenly an extra dinosaur leg with a burnt outside and tender inside suddenly appeared in his hand, exuding an attractive fragrance, and he ate it by himself. What? Li Shu actually ate it directly. Did he forget that it was the final scene? The host opened his mouth in surprise and continued, in the face of the opponent's provocation, how should the Monkey King player deal with such a situation? Let's wait and see. Look, everyone. No child can stand such a provocation. The Monkey King player has moved. He took the lead in attacking. Quote. Big brother. Give me a bite. Wukong rushed over in an instant, about to snatch the dinosaur leg from Li Shu's hand. Li Shu had already prepared. How could he let Wukong get his wish, and immediately slapped the dinosaur's leg on the leg and disappeared without a trace. At the same time, the left hand delivered an elbow blow. However, this elbow pierced through Goku's body. Afterimage fist. Li Shu instantly understood, the tip of his nose twitched slightly, and a strong crisis came from behind. Without thinking about it, he stepped on the soles of his feet suddenly, and directly came to a golden hook hanging upside down on the spot, dodging Wukong's attack at the same time, and kicked Wukong's back. However, this kick was missed again, and the kick was still an afterimage. Double remnant elephant fist. Li Shu didn't feel the slightest surprise, and his offensive didn't stop because of this. He smelled a dangerous aura coming from above, and his fist slammed out. Bang! With a muffled sound, Li Shu's fist and Wukong's fist slammed together, and both of them had drastic changes in their faces. Wukong backflips in a row and distanced himself from Li Shu safely. Li Shu took a few steps backwards to dissolve this force, and at the same time, a sharp pain came from the knuckles. Shish, it hurts, it hurts. Li Shu inhaled in pain, rubbed his hands constantly, and shouted loudly at the same time. Wukong. Wait a minute. Let me take my time. No sneak attacks. Hiss. It hurts me. Wukong laughed and said, Big brother, you're still so afraid of pain. After a while, Li Shu finally relented and looked at Wukong with a frown. He decided that in the next battle, he would focus on fighting and never go head-to-head with Wukong. Big brother, I've attacked it. Goku rushed straight over and came with a flying kick at great speed. However, this kick was directly kicked into the air, and what was left in place was the afterimage of Li Shu. Turtle School Qigong. At the same time, a cry came from above, accompanied by a blue wave of light. Wukong reacted very quickly, and quickly stood firm after kicking the air, and actually put on a Turtle School Qigong starting hand, and at the moment when the Turtle School Qigong was about to hit him, it was also a Turtle School Qigong shot. The two blue light waves collided and cancelled each other out in an instant. Seeing this scene, the Turtle Immortal's eyes widened. The trick he had painstakingly studied was actually learned at a glance in front of the two brothers, which was really shocking. Hey big brother, I also learned this trick. Wukong said happily. Li Shu was not surprised, but raised a finger, and a wave of energy fluctuated at his fingertips, and with a bang, a wave of light shot out. Wukong was shocked. He had never seen his eldest brother use this move, and quickly dodged the attack with a quick jump. I saw that a big hole had been broken in the position where he was standing. Big brother, what kind of trick is this? Wukong, who jumped in midair, asked in horror. Li Shu said with a smile. This is the eldest brother's self-created trick when watching the TV series, The Six-Vein Divine Sword. After speaking, Li Shu faced Wukong, who was a live target in the air, and he couldn't stop Bubiu. Wukong was shocked. There was no place for people to borrow power in the air. It was difficult to complete the movement, and he was hit by several light waves in an instant and was injured. And under the impact of the light wave, it fell towards the sidelines. I really want to win. It's not as difficult as I thought. It seems that I have indeed become a lot stronger. Li Shu looked at the scene in surprise. He didn't expect to win so easily. However, just when everyone thought Goku was going to lose, an accident happened. I saw that Goku's tail danced wildly, like the propeller of a helicopter, and flew back to the ring with him. Li Shu was dumbfounded. He never thought that the tail could be used like this. The host yelled excitedly, What? The Monkey King player actually flew back with his tail. The awesome showdown isn't over yet. Quote. Hey, hey. Wukong grinned and said, Big brother, I'm going to be serious too. With that, Goku disappeared with a whoosh. Li Shu's heart tightened. He was very worried that he would be approached by Wukong. The tip of his nose quickly stirred, and he soon felt the dangerous aura coming from behind. Just when Li Shu wanted to respond, his face suddenly changed. Wrong. In addition to the rear, he actually felt the aura of danger above. What's going on? It was this momentary hesitation that made Li Shu reveal a huge flaw, and his back instantly suffered a strong blow. The sharp pain that pierced the heart made Li Shu let out a terrible scream. At the same time, a shaggy tail wrapped around his neck. Li Shu also immediately understood why he smelled two dangerous breaths at the same time. The reason is very simple. Wukong can use two different attacks at the same time, hitting his head on the back at the same time, and at the same time controlling his tail to attack the neck, in this way confusing Li Shu's perception. While Li Shu was in great pain, he was full of admiration for Wukong in his heart, and he was greatly shocked by such a powerful battle instinct. I thought that I could be invincible with the nose of fighting, but it seems that I was whimsical. Big brother, admit defeat. Wukong actually used the tail wrapped around Li Shu's neck to lift Li Shu's whole person. Li Shu, who was deprived of oxygen, turned red, and dragged Wukong's tail with both hands, trying to break free. However, it was all in vain. Li Shu couldn't help but have a trace of bitterness in his heart. It was he who told Wukong to increase the training of the tail, because this was their weakness. Therefore, Wukong's use of the tail can reach the point where it is today, and burst out with such a powerful power. Mr. Referee, let's count down. Wukong said to the host and referee who was watching from the sidelines. The host woke up like a dream and shouted excitedly, It's really a wonderful showdown, it's breathtaking. Li Shu has no power to parry at the moment. If he can't break free within 10 seconds, for the sake of his life safety, we can only sentence him to lose. Quote. 10, 9, 8. With the countdown of the referee, the female audience outside the stadium suddenly became excited. They couldn't watch their idols watch. They lost like this, and shouted loudly, Li Shu, come on. Li Shu was already a little confused at the moment due to the lack of oxygen in his brain. The feeling of suffocation from the lack of oxygen in the brain made Li Shu extremely painful. Faced with such a situation, it was not that he had no way to break the game, but the intense pain and suffocation made his brain short-circuit, as if he was going to shut down at any time. It's not normal, it hurts abnormally. Li Shu suddenly thought of something. He was indeed afraid of pain, but who among the modern youth was not afraid of pain? But he is not so afraid of pain. The feeling of suffocation and the feeling of a heavy blow to his back, he has not experienced it in his previous life, and it definitely does not hurt as much as it does now. It's as if something has magnified my pain tenfold, hundredfold, thousandfold, 10,000. I didn't pay attention to it before, because there was a little pain. Li Shu would choose to relieve the pain in time. But now it's different, it's at the scene of the finals, he has to experience this extreme pain, and he is mentally prepared in advance, but if you think about it carefully, this pain is too outrageous. There's a problem. There must be something wrong with the immortal body. Under the extreme pain, a spiritual light flashed in Li Shu's mind, and he instantly locked on the object of suspicion. Of all his undescribed skills, only the immortal body is the most suspicious. After all, the fighting series skills are all local abilities, and he knows the Saiyan bloodline very well, and most importantly, on the first day he came to the Dragon Ball world, he was chewed dead by the dinosaurs and almost fainted. It was the first time he was eaten by a dinosaur, and Li Shu had no experience, so he didn't notice the abnormality of the pain. After the thought was reached, Li Shu's willpower was improved, and under the influence of the genes of the Saiyan bloodline, he was able to stay awake under such extreme pain. I haven't fallen to the ground yet, I'm not allowed to count. Li Shu's voice seemed to be squeezed out of his throat, hoarse and painful. The host looked at Li Shu, whose face was flushed, as if he was about to burp at any time, and shouted excitedly, oh my god. Li Shu has woken up. He didn't faint. But he's in a terrible situation. What will he do to solve the current dilemma? Let's wait and see. Such a wonderful matchup is simply an unparalleled visual feast. Wukong frowned, looked at Li Shu with a worried expression, and said, Big brother, admit defeat. If you continue like this, you will really die. Don't worry, I can't die. Big brother still has a trick that is useless. Li Shu said with difficulty. Don't forget, I also have a tail. The moment the words fell, a whip shadow suddenly drew towards Wukong. Wukong was shocked, because Li Shu's tail was basically wrapped around his waist, and the frequency of use was very low, it was easy to ignore. Even Wukong, who has been with Li Shu for more than 5 years, ignores this syllable. The tail like a long whip slammed into Goku's head, leaving a hideous whip mark, and Goku suddenly covered his head in pain and screamed. Li Shu also took this opportunity to break free from the shackles, greedily breathing in the fresh air, and looking at Wukong with palpitations. He was almost about to lose just now. When he wins the championship, he will be rich, and he must ask the system why he is so afraid of pain, whether it is related to the hidden information of the immortal body. No matter what the result is, it is already an established fact that he is afraid of pain, and when the Dragon Balls cool down and recover, he must collect all 7 Dragon Balls as soon as possible, and complete the main line check in task while making a wish of not being afraid of pain. As for whether it will change the development of the plot because of this, which will lead to terrifying consequences, Li Shu can't care so much. The world is the biggest, and the most important thing is to be comfortable by himself. Li Shu, who had made up his mind, took a deep breath, drummed his cheeks into a big drum, and took the lead in attacking, which was directly a Turtle Faction Qigong. At the moment when Wukong was about to face the wave again, Li Shu's mouth, which he had long been unable to suppress, suddenly opened, and let out an earth-shattering roar. Lion's roar surprised the Dragon Ball world. The surrounding walls were directly torn apart under this strong sonic attack, and the host closest to the ring was directly lifted out. The audience covered their ears with painful expressions, and looked at Li Shu in the ring in horror one by one. This guy. There is such a powerful power hidden. The turtle immortal was the most shocked. He suddenly felt that even if it was a head-to-head battle, he might not be able to win against Li Shu. For example, this move in front of him is difficult for him to deal with, and if he is not careful, he will lose. Seeing this, the turtle immortals were originally a little unwilling, and they suddenly dissipated. He had to admit that Li Shu did have the strength to win him. The turtle immortal looked at the two young people in front of him with emotion, and felt that a new era was coming, and it was difficult for him, an old guy, to keep up with the pace of young people. He will become a spectator and witness the birth of the strongest martial artist in the new era. After all, these two amazingly talented little guys are their own apprentices, ha 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 ha. That's amazing. Li Shu can cause such terrifying destructive power with just one roar. So how should the Goku player, who is in the center of the attack, deal with it? I have to say that the host and referee is very dedicated and still passionate about explaining. At this moment, Wukong's location, under the attack of the turtle sect Qigong, was shrouded in thick smoke, and he couldn't see the appearance inside. Li Shu frowned. The situation in front of him was very familiar, and anyone who had seen the Dragon Ball would be unfamiliar, and in this case, most of the people inside were safe and sound. Sure enough, after the smoke cleared, Goku stood there naked, with a shocked expression on his face. Isn't it, the turtle school Qigong plus lion's roar gong only blew up the clothes? Is this the main character? Li Shu, who saw the result, was also dumbfounded. The moment he saw Wukong's little bell, the host hurriedly shouted, "The game will be suspended first. Monkey King, do you still have spare clothes?" "No, I don't." Wukong scratched the back of his head honestly, looking harmless to humans and animals. At this moment, the shocked Klin came back to his senses and took off his clothes to Wukong, and he changed into the clothes he had worn when he was at the Shaolin Temple. The game started again. "Big brother, you're so powerful when you're serious," Wukong said to Li Shu, "but I'm not weak, I'm going to use all my strength." Li Shu looked at Wukong solemnly. Except for the fact that the void dance technique had not yet been used, he had already exhausted his means. The next battle will be a fierce hand-to-hand combat. Li Shu took a deep breath and was mentally prepared to enjoy the ultimate pain. The two brothers glanced at each other, and they both saw the strong fighting intent in each other's eyes. Ode. Both of them disappeared in place at the same time. Gone. Both are gone. The host held the microphone in shock, looked around the ring, and finally found a trace in the air. "Look, everyone." In the sky, the two of them jumped into the air at the same time. However, the host's gaze obviously couldn't keep up with Wukong and Li Shu's movements. At the moment when the host looked at the sky, the air battle between the two was over, and they fell to the ground and beat each other violently. The movements of the two fighting were extremely fast, leaving one afterimage after another, and the sound of fists and feet colliding was deafening. Although the movements of the two people could not be seen clearly, under the host's explanation, the audience still watched with relish. The battle soon became white-hot, the sky gradually darkened, and a full moon quietly hung in the sky. Li Shu, who is no longer afraid of pain, is becoming more and more courageous at this moment, not falling behind at all, and even faintly has the momentum to suppress Wukong. Seeing that he couldn't attack for a long time, Li Shu's eyes flashed, and he began to implement the plan that had been formulated a long time ago. What does it smell like and why is it so fragrant? After a long battle, both of them had consumed a lot of physical strength, and at this time, an enticing aroma of meat wafted in, instantly hooking Goku's hunger. Grunt, grunt, his stomach made a hungry sound of resistance, and Wukong subconsciously looked at Li Shu's right leg, and it was here that this tempting smell of meat came from. It was such a distracted look that made Wukong show a flaw. Li Shu seized the opportunity, and with an uppercut, he directly knocked Wukong away. Li Shu, who was about to take advantage of the victory and chase after him, knocked Wukong directly to the outside of the field, suddenly saw the full moon in the sky, and a violent force awakened in his body, causing it to suddenly change color. Li Shu hurriedly staggered his gaze to look at Wukong, only to see that Wukong's body began to expand rapidly, and his vigorous hair was growing wildly. In an instant, it transformed into a terrifying and hideous giant ape, its huge body occupying half of the ring. This terrifying scene stunned everyone. How could they still transform into gorillas? The audience with a bewildered face looked confused. Big brother, I thought I was going to lose, but I didn't expect that today was a full moon, but fortunately the transformation was timely, hee hee. Wukong, a giant ape, let out a hideous laugh out of his mouth. Hey! Li Shu sighed, although with his help, Wukong would not lose his mind and run wild after transforming into a giant ape, but once he transformed into a giant ape, unless his physical strength was exhausted, or he was dying and seriously injured, or cutting off his tail, or destroying the moon, otherwise the transformation of the giant ape would be irreversible. In other words, neither he nor Goku is currently able to terminate the state of the giant ape's transformation on their own. Big brother, won't you change your body? Goku said excitedly. Li Shu didn't want to transform. After all, there were so many people watching at the scene. The giant ape's transformation was about to burst his clothes. Once the transformation was over, he was meticulous. Wouldn't that giant dragon have to be displayed in the limelight? Even with a skill like Cheeky LV1, it's hard to hide his shame. However, there are some things, it's not that you don't want to, you cannot do it. Looking at the combat power above the head of the giant ape Wukong, Li Shu is very desperate. Combat strength 830. Transform into a giant ape, and your combat power has directly increased tenfold. How can you fight without moving? Do you really want to learn from the turtle fairy in the original book and destroy the moon? Li Shu quickly gave up this idea, and with his current turtle sect Qigong skills, he was not able to destroy the moon to the extent. It's really frustrating. Li Shu couldn't help it, looked at the full moon, and began to transform into a giant ape. Li Shu, who has transformed into a giant ape, has reached 945 in combat power. With the improvement of the Eye of Fighting, he no longer needs to look in the mirror to see the combat power above his head. 945. Li Shu was a little surprised, and hurriedly did an extremely difficult math problem in his heart, which ordinary people can't calculate. 945 divided by 78.75 equals 12. Li Shu, who got the result, instantly understood that his Saiyan bloodline was one level higher than Wukong's, so the increase in combat power after transforming into a giant ape was twice as high. At first, Li Shu was still a little worried. After all, Wukong's basic combat power was higher than his own, and the gap between the two would be widened after the transformation. Now it seems that after the transformation, I have the advantage. Looking at the giant ape Wukong who occupied the other half of the ring, the giant ape Li Shu couldn't help laughing wildly, and directly punched out. With the huge bodies of the two of them at the moment, as long as they take 2 steps back, they will fall out of the field. In other words, in such a limited space, it is difficult for them to make too big a move, and what will happen next will be a real power contest. Facing the bombardment, fists to the flesh, there can be no slightest concession. The spectacular scene that ordinary people can't see in their lifetime makes the audience's blood boil. For the Earthlings living in the Dragon Ball world, they can get along with animal people day and night and get married and have children, and it is not difficult for them to accept that 1 or 2 humans can transform into gorillas. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? The host shouted excitedly. At the end of our finals, it turned out to be a competition between 2 giant apes. It seems that the giant ape that Li Shu turned into is even better. The giant ape Wukong was beaten and retreated. Can't go back. Goku players can't be retired anymore. If you retreat, you will have to quit the field. The giant ape Wukong naturally knew this, but the Li Shu of the giant ape made Wukong feel a huge pressure. Whether it is in terms of momentum or strength, you have to suppress him. Even in the blood flowing in his body, he could feel that inexplicable pressure, causing the flow of qi and blood in his body to be not as smooth as before. If the qi and blood are not smooth, the strength will not be smooth. This is also the reason why the giant ape Wukong showed his decline after a few moves. If Wukong and Li Shu had the same education, they would definitely exclaim, bloodline suppression. And the 4 words of inability to describe his mood at the moment. Li Shu never expected such a result. He had known that this would have been the case, and he would have chosen to change his clothes from the beginning to avoid the pain of flesh and skin. It really hurts. Just when Li Shu thought that he was sure to win, an accident happened. At this moment, Li Shu finally realized the villain's mood when fighting against the protagonist. It was really a big ups and downs, and there were waves of unevenness. I saw that Wukong, the giant ape who was about to withdraw from the arena after being punched, suddenly had a red light in his mouth, and it converged at an astonishing speed. Roaring. Wukong roared, and a wave of red light surged. Fueled by this light wave, his feet were rigged into the ring, avoiding the result of falling off the court. And the red light wave directly hit Li Shu's face, almost knocking Li Shu's head off. Under the severe pain and impact, Li Shu fell straight behind him. Thanks for watching.